Great evening, great evening. Welcome to Gravity Talks. Tonight's feature is mental health and the First Ladies Edition. Woo! I am your host, Vicki Yelverton. I'm the proud CEO and owner of Yelverton's Enrichment Services, where we've been providing services to the community for over 15 years, focusing on mental health and physical health. And I'm also receiving my master's in social work with North Carolina Central University.
Awesome. I'm also your host, Natasha Lewis. I am pastor of Temple of Deliverance Church, located in the awesome, wonderful city of Henderson, North Carolina. Woo-hoo, yes, rep my city. And also work in mental health. And I'm also in school, obtaining my doctorate in education. So I'm excited about today.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we have an awesome panel set up for you all tonight. We have some wonderful, magnificent ladies that are joining us that are going to share some nuggets of information. So without further ado, let's see, Lady Quisha, tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hey, everybody. I am Quisha Horton. I'm originally from the original Washington in North Carolina, and I am the First Lady of Kingdom Life Community Church that's located right here in Washington. And we have been there for 7 years.
Awesome. All right. And let's see, Lady Chapman, tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. My name is Sandy Chapman. I am married to Pastor Jeffrey Chapman Sr. We are the founders of Raleigh North Christian Center, which will be 20 years this year. Wow, we'll be 20 years old. We started the ministry in our home. I have 3 adult children, and I also have 2 wonderful grandkids.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Lady Chapman. All right. And Pastor Cherry, tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Pastor Osley Cherry. I am the wife of Mr. Cherry, Bishop Cherry. And we've been married for 43 years.
Woo-hoo.
I pastor along with him at Compassion Worship Cathedral in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. I have 2 wonderful daughters and 3 wonderful grandchildren.
Awesome. Well, Pastor Cherry, thank you for joining us tonight. Now, I see you got OZ. Do you like to go by OZ or Ozalie?
It depends if you mess it up.
I'm gonna try not to mess it up, but in case I do, I'll make sure I say Pastor OZ. Okay.
That's good.
All right. So let's jump right in. Again, the purpose of Gravity Talks and mental health is to kind of identify the common thread or the relationship between mental health and all aspects of life. We've had so many different segments. And again, tonight we're featuring mental health and the First Ladies edition. So we want to kind of get the First Lady's thoughts on mental health and also just balancing life, church, and family. So one of the things we want to make sure everyone understands is that mental health, because there seems to be a stigma associated with the word mental. And then, of course, when you say mental health, when there shouldn't be, because mental health is just like physical health. Yeah. The same when you go to the gym, the same when you go walk around the park or go on the bike trail, is the same way you want to do things to exercise your mind to keep your mental health stable. So yes, you have mental illness, and some things that if you don't keep up with your mental health, it could spiral into mental illness. And so I just want to make sure that we have a clear understanding that there's nothing wrong with mental health. Everyone should be concerned about their mental health. And so that's why we want to dive in and talk about that a little bit more tonight. So speaking of mental health, and I'll give this question over to, let's see, Pastor Terry, we'll start with you first. What are your thoughts or understanding or even connection to mental health?
Well, my thoughts, good evening, everyone. My thoughts about mental health is the fact that you have to be mentally stable, just as you were saying, as physical. Because if you have a lot of strain and stress and you can't just be yourself, that's going to play on your total man, as far as add a lot of stress in areas that should not be. You end up with headaches, you end up with stomach aches, you end up with distancing yourself from people, and so you need to sort of deal with those things.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So Lady Chapman, just from what Pastor Cherry just shared with us, what are your thoughts about mental health or connection to mental health?
Well, my connection to mental health is at Raleigh North Christian Center. We do have an excellent mental health ministry in which I've learned so much through the workshops and panels and classes. It was so informative, which really answered or really confirmed a lot of things that I already knew, which is everything is not the devil. Everything is not demonic. Sometimes you're just tired. Depression is not the devil, and it's okay. So when we have this ministry at church, it takes the stigma away from churches that, oh, you're depressed. Oh, you got a spirit. So I love that the ministry that we have that here at Raleigh North Christian Center. I don't know of another church. There's probably more, but I don't know of any. And we open it to the community because I want, especially in Black churches, for us to get rid of that mindset and get some help for people.
That's right.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lady Chapman, aka my first lady of my church, Raleigh North Christian Center. Okay. Lady Horton, do you mind sharing your thoughts about mental health or your connection?
I don't mind. First of all, I do have like a personal, well, not with me, but family wise. So mental illness is real. So if we don't have that health part, if we don't take care of ourselves, well, then that can transpire. So I do believe in taking care of ourselves, not only physically, emotionally, in other ways, but also in our mental state. So there has to be some type of balance. And most of, as she just said about everything isn't demonic. Yeah, everything isn't demonic. We just need to make sure we give the right attention to some things, and it'll be okay.
That's good.
And thank you for sharing it, because I like that you all mentioned that everything is not demonic, and that the point is that the church is ready to coexist with illness, because back in the day that wasn't the case. And that's why Natasha and I thought that the Gravity Talks is needed, because we wanted to destigmatize mental health.
That's good.
It just so happens that a lot of the segments we've been doing feature certain segments of the church, because we're showing the community that the time is now for such a time as this, they can all coexist together. Mm-hmm. So we're really, really excited about how the tables are turning and how churches are gaining a little bit more understanding about mental wellness and the importance thereof. So.
And definitely, I just want to add that, you know, even though that it's getting better, there's still some areas that we need to push and to thrive on, because there are still some churches that, you know, still aren't accepting, and it really starts with leadership. And so, you know, that's why we're having these heavy discussions. And ironically enough, you know, we just collaborated, mental health professional, mental health CEO, and a pastor all at the same time. It's like, we can get this word together. Between the two of us, we can definitely do it. So, so guys, thank you so much for sharing your connection with mental health. So now we're going to talk about your position. And that's what we came tonight to talk about. And we're going to go roundabout to get to the nitty gritty, but we're going to get started. So my first question to you guys is, how has the position of First Lady changed your life? But before you answer that question, I got to know, how were you before you became a First Lady? So I'm going to start. Let me see who looks ready. Let's see. Lady Chapman, you sitting back. So I'm going to start with you. I'm going to let you go first.
I felt that in my spirit, man. I knew you were going to come from me. Well, for me, it's not like, it didn't really change me. It's more like I changed the position, because we started the ministry in our homes and from ground up in our living room. And it was like, it wasn't no position. It was like, just get it done. We had to get this ministry built. We had to do things. And so by the time we moved into our first building, my husband looked at me one day. He said, I need you to open up for me. And I'm like, open up? I don't know what to do. I mean, what do you want? What do you mean? He said, just do you. So when he said that, that was like liberating. I was like, oh, okay. One thing I can do me. And so, so that is what I did. I just started opening up for him. And we got like a little joke at church. I didn't go to First Lady class. I didn't go to First Lady school. What you see is what you get. Okay. And so that's how we roll, and that's how we get it done. So how I was before, I wasn't one to really speak in front of people. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like a homemaker. I was and a wife, and did little things. But as far as speaking in front of people, and before, I wasn't one that was, I think I used to be more like a really people pleaser. And I was didn't really walk in the authority that God gave me. But when he said, hey, open up for me, do you? Bam. It just, everything that was in me came up.
Just like that.
Just like that.
That's what happened.
Just like that.
And that's how I've been rolling ever since.
So when you, now I do have to ask one question about the people pleasing part. How long did that take? Did you immediately stop being a people pleaser, or?
No.
Okay.
Years. It comes from growth and maturity. Mm-hmm. It comes from being obedient to God. We really put people above God. We rather please people over God. And I had to get delivered from that. I want to please God. So you can get mad if you want to. You can leave if you want to. I'm going to do what God called me to do. I'm going to walk in that authority, and I'm going to be me. And that's what happened. But it took years, because I so love the people. And if somebody left, oh my God, I took it so personally. But God just showed me how to release people. They belong to him. It was just for a season. And I had to grow through that. So you grow through that. It took years. And then to say, wait a minute, I really need these people's approval. I had to get to the point where I only need God's approval.
Come on now.
You know, I got to be, really within myself content, and, and stop trying to please people. I mean, it was real. So I got delivered. I'm good now. But it took years.
So did the people change on you when you?
The ones that could not handle it did. They either changed, or they adjusted. Some people, they understood leadership and authority in a position. Other people, when you quit, you have to train people how to treat you. And when you quit and let people, they see, when they see that that you need them like that and that you want to please them, they take advantage of that. But then I built that monster, so I'm not even mad with them. So once you train people how to treat you, you won't have that problem. So the ones that left, it was time. It wasn't for them. It was a season. Some people left, but most did not. But the ones that were supposed to leave did. Or change, they changed on me, or they changed for good or changed for bad. But it was all God. That lesson was for me. It really didn't have nothing to do with them.
I like that. And I said it was all good. It was all God. I love that.
That was good right there. She said they changed. They went.
Yeah. Change them
in that order.
Yeah.
In that order. Their season was up.
Yeah.
Climate change. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Pastor Ozzy, I want to ask you, same thing. How were you before you became a first lady, and how did that position change your life?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. I was the opposite of Lady Chapman. I was not a people pleaser, never have been. So I was an evangelist before I got this first lady thing. And as a matter of fact, I don't really call it first lady because I always thought in my mind, if I say first lady, there was a second lady somewhere. So I always kind of sort of kept it only lady, But so I never got stuck on, I wanted everybody, to like me. I wanted everybody. I knew I was, like I said, I wasn't a people pleaser, but I was a people lover. I love people. And I can't, it sort of kind of, my position sort of intertwined together because with me stepping into pastoralship and first lady all there together. So I had to be, I had to love them and chastise them at the same time, put both one arm of correction around one way and the other arm of love around the other way. So it was a little bit, I was in dual position, actually.
Are you, I have a question. So are you the pastor? Is your husband the pastor as well? I mean,
my husband is our bishop of our ministry, our apostle.
Okay, so he's like,
so we work together, and I'm not sure if that made any difference or not. But what I never did for myself was stigmatize myself as a first lady. It was right. That I had to get it done. My mind of first lady is you work harder than anybody else in the church. So because you wanted to make that ministry be successful, of course, with the help of God, following God. So that's how I had to do it.
Now, how long have you guys been in the ministry together?
Pastoring, you mean?
Yes.
So this makes I think this makes the 25th year.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
There's definitely been some. So you said you weren't a people pleaser. So did you find that people took it difficult? Was it difficult for them to adjust to your personality?
I really don't think so. People that love you, it's not going to be a hard job for them to adjust to who you are because that's who you are. I never tried to be somebody that I wasn't, I just always just been me, and I presented myself as me.
I love it. I love it. I think now it sounds like to me when you can see the difference between you guys got different stories and the different personalities that had to come out of that. And I think the difference is you started off being that you was a speaker, you was preaching already.
Right.
She wasn't saying nothing.
Right.
You had to open up. And so open up what, the door? And so, right. it kind of made that makes that difference with that connection of just kind of transitioning into all of those things at one time. So I like the different perspectives, and I also like how you guys are bringing that together. So now we're going to move over to our young book, 7 years in the making, and 7, right? Am I right?
Yes, 7.
7 years in the making. 7 is the number of completion.
Completion.
Hey,
And when something's completed, I'm just kidding.
so tell me, how were you before you became first lady?
Well,
And then I want to know after that, just kind of, how has that position changed your life?
okay. Well, before, you could probably kind of tell I loved being in the background. I didn't care about being in the front. Nobody had to know that I'm anywhere. If I stepped in a room, you don't even have to know I'm there. I would sit in the back. I was fine with that. And so just becoming a first lady, first of all, my husband and I were only married, I think, for about 2 years, about 3. And we were having another child. And so everything was just kind of came all at once. And then becoming a first lady and having to deal with other people was a big adjustment for me. I am quiet, but I do have a tendency to kind of say what's on my mind. But as Lady Chapman say, when my husband was like, okay, I need you to do praise and worship, or I need you to do this, I was just like, you sure you want me to do this? Like, okay. But, I did it because I believed in, where God was sending him in the vision. But now I would say that right now I'm probably just getting a lot more comfortable in being a first lady. It's been 7 years. We're going on 7 years. And this has probably been the first year that I can say that, I may be doing okay.
Are you the founders? Are you guys the founders? I'm sorry, I didn't miss that part of the
Yes,
ministry.
ma'am.
You guys building the ministry from the ground up.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you got to work.
Yes, it has been a work.
Yeah, you got to work. You got to get it done.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
has. And I'll even add this part, which I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. That as a young person, I learned a lot of what not to do from looking at other first ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, they make you to
Give
be
me
a
an
first,
example. Hold on, wait. Give me an example.
first lady school. Y'all own to something.
I want to
Yeah.
hear an example first. Wait, tell me what like what?
Okay, so somebody come in and they're dressed a certain way that you just don't feel like is pleasing to God. When they come into the sanctuary, instead of just blurting out and saying something and making them feel like they don't belong there, you just deal with it and go on with the service and just allow God to handle their heart and not you jabbing at them and making them feel judged about coming to a sanctuary a certain type of way. So yeah.
So do you ever say anything to him?
Do I?
Yeah, this is a question for everybody. Everybody.
Well, I can say that I haven't right off, but I have built a relationship first where when I say something, they don't take it too hard or they won't feel a certain way about it. But I build a relationship first.
Okay.
But I'm sure these other ladies that have been in there and been in it longer can probably.
Well,
yes.
I try to live, I try to lead by example, and we speak on, every pastor used to every now and then preach, about clothes, not like sending people to hell or say you can't wear this, but as you mature, I would say, as you grow and mature, your clothes will get saved and catch up with you eventually. And sometimes you might have to tell somebody like, girl, if you have a relationship with them, like, girl, that's too tight. You need to wear one little thing. So I can kind of talk to the women like that because I think I have a good relationship with the women at our church. We are very close and we have a relationship. The different ministries, women's ministries and different ministries, you do different events. So we fellowship a lot. We do things together. So I know them. So it's not like I'm just going to tell somebody your stuff is too short or too, you're showing too much cleavage. But I have been at the altar pulling up shirts like this, you got too much. My husband praying over you. Oh no, pull that up. So I've done that.
How did that go?
It went fine. I'm pulling up. It was hard, but I got it up there.
Did you have to twist a little bit?
No, I'm just shaking. Shaking. But that's fine. But you have to do what you got to do. But I have a relationship, and I was saying when I say I was like a people pleaser, I really wanted everybody to be happy, and I genuinely loved people, and so I didn't want to hurt anybody. But you got people that's going to be people, some people, and so they knew that I care for them. They knew that, and I'll hug them and something like that, or say, "Girl, now you can't be bringing all that to the altar. You got to cover that, stuff like that." So it's okay.
They can't bring it all to the altar.
They don't know any better because
they really don't know.
Yeah, they know. No one ever told them, and like you said, it's out of love. So they look up to you. A lot of the women in the church, I'm sure, look up to the first lady of the church,
and I have a relationship with them.
Exactly.
So the key thread is relationship. How about you, Pastor Ozzie? Because I hear a lot of times when it comes down to outfits that and I have my own view about it, but I'm just gonna ask y'all. I'm not even gonna give my thoughts. They say, "Come as you are."
They don't mean it.
Well, now this is me. Okay, you want us to be real, right?
Yeah, be real. Bring it to me. Give it to me.
If Ozzie is so my main objective is getting that sister or that brother these days to Christ. Whatever they come in, that wouldn't be my main objective. I would want them to feel the love of God,
right,
without me saying something about their clothes.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? I wouldn't want even no one in our congregation to look at them in a kind of funny way, regardless to what they had on, because they might not have anything else. Now you kind of sort of can't have to have discernment too there. Now, are they coming to overthrow, or are they coming to are they really, really, really meaning this thing from their heart? Not judging them,
right?
But just really trying to see if do they really want Jesus? Because see, when I first got saved, you talk about what did I do before whatever that question was you asked, Pastor. Yeah. When the Lord saved me, I had on a mini dress. It was purple. I know the color.
Hey,
these wide sleeves and a black rim hat. And you tell me, honey, I had just come from the club.
Right.
That Saturday night. And I came into the Baptist church that I grew up in. And God touched me like he's never touched me before.
Amen.
And the young lady said to me, "Well, I know he's not touching you because of what you got on. I would have never come to Jesus."
Right.
So what we have to do, we have to just be careful. We just can't jump on them like they are thorn in our flesh. Let God do it, because he will do it. It takes us to be wise to win them to Christ, because our main objective should be that it's about Jesus and him crucified. He's the one that will do the sanctifying of them. And as Pastor Chapman said, Lady Chapman said, as they get saved, their clothes will change. Mm-hmm. I knew that the Lord had saved me because my dresses came down. I didn't want nobody to see these big thighs that they used to see.
And big pretty thighs.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want no one to see my back out when I had on a halter top, as heavy busted as I am. I didn't want anybody to see that anymore. So I would, cover myself up, because the Lord had made not a change just on the outside of me, but he made a change on the inside of me.
Yeah. See, I like that, because that's the thing. God really works on the inside first. And I try to really, the way I dress, I really try to dress for an example. And I know people like style. I enjoy style. And I try to dress and show people you can do you. You can dress your style, but it don't have to be so sensual. You can have style without being so, showing a lot. And so I just try to lead by example by certain things I wear and do, because I know people are watching me and they're looking for example. Some people don't know what church clothes are. I'm like, church clothes is if you look covered up, you know what I'm saying? That's church clothes. You can wear your jeans. You know, we think holiness is holiness is not a clothing line, y'all. It is not a clothing line. Holiness is inside of you, and that you work on the outside. So you can wear your clothes, but you want it to be presentable where you are representing Christ. You don't want to, like you said, you don't want to show everything, but I dress to be the example for others to show them how to dress.
All right.
I like that.
Appropriately, I should say.
And I think that, you know, you guys have got great different levels of feedback where, you know, you can address some things, and then sometimes you do have to just kind of wait on the Lord, because I've seen some cases where people get offended. Mm-hmm. You know, I've heard it all. She just don't want her husband to look at me, and you name it, and I've seen it all come out, fall down,
right,
roll down the aisle. I've seen it. My God. And so with that being said, you know, I think it's kind of like you got to balance it out and see which way is going to be the most effective and the most appropriate. So thank you guys. I think that was a great bit of information.
So like right there, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you all shared, the thing that popped in my mind is responsibility. You know, as a leader in the church, as the first lady of the church, like we said, a lot of people look up to you. You lead by example, and that's a lot of weight. Okay, so now we want to shift gears and let's talk about some mental health piece of that, because, you know, as far as coping, and especially now during this pandemic, everything has changed.
Yes.
Right? So let's talk a little bit about how things have changed as you all have continued to try and lead, be a leader in the church, provide that level of support, balance, all that good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about how are you doing and how are you able to cope in your current position in such a different environment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So Lady Chapman, share with me your thoughts about, you know, how are you able to cope now as a first lady? What would you say has changed, and what would you say has not changed?
Well, it seemed like everything changed. Mm-hmm. We went from, you know, being a fellowship in church to greet your neighbor, hug your neighbor, get somebody's name, invite 3 people, come to this event. We greeting people at the church, we hugging pastors, hugging people, and we blessing babies. And we're very, very touchy-feely. We're a church family, very tight. You know, we got all these different ministries to make sure nobody fall between the cracks. We are a large church with a small church field because we are together a lot. We have these small different events to make sure that, you know, that we know each other. So all of that to nothing, 0, like from touching to social distancing, you can't gather. And now, so we went to live streaming. So this was very hard for me at first because of my personality. I love people. And I love my church, and I love my congregation. And I was very concerned about how everybody was doing. It was how I was concerned about people losing their jobs, their businesses. You know, I was just very, very concerned. And I thank God that we, for my media team, my audio team, and my son, Jeffrey Jr., that make sure that we was already streaming and doing, but it was on point. We had to take it to another level. And so then we had to kind of do a lot of things online. And once I got to a place where God was like, okay, look, quit worrying about people. It was overwhelming me. And, you know, and I was concerned about them being sad and depressed. I was concerned, then I was getting all like sad and like, I'm not used to being sad. I was feeling some kind of way like this. I don't like the way I'm feeling, you know, because it seemed like I didn't have control. I didn't know what was going on. Stuff didn't feel right to me. So I had to really seek God and say, God was like, I'm like, wait a minute. For the first time in like 4 years, I'm getting some rest. I can rest. Wow. And it felt funny to just chill because we are very busy, balanced but busy, and we got a church that we interact with. We touch our people, and so God was just like, look, I'm doing something in your life. Get this rest, and like I got them just like I got you. I'm trying to work out something in them like I'm trying to work out in you. They got to trust me like you have to trust, like you trust me. So I had to release the people I had to release them to God. I was worried because what can I do? I was like so concerned. And then of course you got our ministers now. We organize stuff where we got the ministers and the deacons calling in groups of people, checking on them. We check on our elderly, we just try to do things on Zoom and stuff like that. Finally, but I just had to release and get some rest. So we went from preaching sermons, like my husband preached twice a Sunday, and on Wednesday, and so we do now one sermon on Sunday, which is fabulous. Mm-hmm. We used to sleep at the church until Monday. I was like, honey, we preach today. Because when, we feel the virtue, he preaches like I'm preaching. And plus, the people pull on you. So you got 1,000 people a Sunday pulling on you, say 500 one service and 4 the next service. And we right back to back, what, a 30-minute gap before we start the next service. It's a lot. And so I'm like, God, and we had a lot of stuff that we were doing and changing and doing and stuff like that in general before this COVID thing came. So it was time for me to rest. I'm telling you, I haven't had this much rest in 4 years. I feel great. Because we're doing. So I thank God. It's working for my good.
So rest. You were able to interpret that and really receive the fact that you have a season of rest.
Without guilt-free rest, I should say, because, for some reason, we just feel like I can't chill. I got things. It's always something to do. That's why you have to have that balance. So it was guilt-free rest, and it was God rest. It was rest from God. And so that felt really good. Okay.
Well, thank you, Lady Chapman. So Lady Quisha, do you mind sharing, like, as far as how have you been coping? Has there been any difference? Have things remained the same? What are your thoughts?
Oh, a lot changed. Of course, as Lady Chapman said, our church, we're based off love, which of course every church is, but we are really tight, and we were used to at least seeing each other and being able to touch one another, give each other hugs, and a lot of that changed. And so from being able to physically touch each other to having to figure out, okay, what are we going to do next? How are we going to be able to still have a connection with our people and let them feel the love coming from us, but not physically being able to see them? So we went from that, and my husband and I started doing the live stream. We tried that for a moment, and it was okay, but it wasn't enough for us. So now we do our outside services in the evening. And, even though we still have restrictions, but at least we're able to see one another. And I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't go through the worry stage. I think I probably just had too much going on in my life at the time, because I do still work full time. I have young girls, still trying to be a wife. And not only did things change in the ministry, but it also changed in our home and in a lot of different areas. So, but we never went through that. But I can say for us, it has put us, I think it actually has drawn us closer to one another. I don't mean just my family. I mean like our church family, because when we don't hear from one another, even though we can't really see, everybody don't come out, because some people still feel, they want to stay quarantined or feel that's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. So we just make sure we check out on people, whether it's a text message or a call, or, I'm gonna send you a chat or something, some way. We learned other ways to connect.
Wow. I think that's key, that you and your husband, were innovative and shifting gears. Same thing Lady Chapman shared about going virtual and just kind of stepping the media game up. Whereas you all said, okay, that may not be the best fit for us long term. Let's cross over and having your social distancing type of services, meeting people where they are. So I think that's great to hear. So would you say, as far as when you say you had a lot of stuff going on yourself, and yet you still are the first lady of your church. So we'll get to that in a minute, but that balance, that's where balance kicks in. You find that you were kind of out of balance, out of alignment, or, what did you have to do to kind of get it back together because you had to take care of the personal stuff going on?
Oh yeah, I was out of balance at first. I think a lot of people probably were, especially in the beginning. It kind of just came out of nowhere. First of all, I work in the school system, so that should say a lot right there.
Yeah.
One day it was okay, like just normal. Then the next day, everything changed. So I definitely had to find a way. It took me, I would say, a couple of months before I actually found that balance, and not actually feeling overwhelmed by the circumstance or the situation that was actually happening, but being able to take control and not to let it control me.
Right.
Wow. Love that. Taking control and not let it control you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. All right, Pastor Oz, what are your thoughts coping in the midst of all this that's been going on?
Well, sometimes I felt like, Lord, if I don't get out of this house, seeing these walls, I'm going to do something. I don't know what I was going to do. I was so concerned about our people.
Yeah.
I was concerned about with them being, Roanoke Rapids area is not this metropolitan city where you can get, the tissue paper, the paper towels, the hand sanitizer, and those sort of things. So that stressed me a lot because I knew I couldn't get it to them, and I knew, and the church had a supply of paper towels and tissue paper, hand sanitizer, and that sort of thing. Just the basic necessities. And because we live in Durham, North Carolina, and Roanoke Rapids is like about an hour and 45 minutes or so away. Wow. We were there with the people. If you need something, don't be down there and not get it. Somebody that has a key to the church, please make sure that you don't go without. So that was a little, it was a little stressful for me. And so I believe that because I was so concerned, and I was like, Lord, how are we going to connect? Not just the virtual on Sunday, but how are we going to connect through the week? We were already having our Bible study on those Thursday nights, but then on Wednesday nights, I started doing a wellness check. And I would call, the different ones. I mean, I wanted to hear their voice to, because you can almost tell if a person is doing okay by hearing their voice. So I wanted to hear their voice and make sure, that they were okay, not trying to make them get online or make them tell me what they're doing and that sort of thing, but just the care part of it. Are you all okay? It's stressing me a little because I don't know how you all are doing because I also work. I work a full-time job, and I wonder sometimes, Lord, what in the world, a woman, what did you make her from? I mean, golly, she does everything. She takes care of the kids. She handles when the husband is crying like a baby. She's got his head on her shoulder saying, come on, dude, you can make it. It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. All this, I'm saying, Lord, what have you made women of? You did a wonderful thing. And I thank every single one of you all for handling your business. Because, sometimes you just, first lady, you be like, oh, Jesus, what else is on my plate? But I'm telling you, whatever he puts on your plate, you're able to take care of it. And that's so interesting to me. That's just, it fascinates me what God will do. So the caretaking of the church body, and then the caretaking of the family. You okay? My grown daughters don't live with me. They have their own homes and their own children. And I'm constantly saying, do you have tissue paper? Do you have this? Do you have that? So that was a lot. But God is still yet faithful. And that's why we have to bring our minds back and say, well, Lord, you're faithful. You're going to fix this thing for me.
Come on now. You're
gonna work this thing out. I don't know how it's gonna get done in this pandemic, but I do know.
It's gonna get done.
See, y'all messing with me.
Go ahead.
I'm coming in.
All right.
Coming in. I heard the Hammond. I heard it. I heard
You know,
the Hammond.
so I God will, we have to pray a lot. I've prayed so much during this season. I thought I knew God, and we do think we know God, but when troubles like this come, pandemic situations like this come, we can't reach each other. We can't we can't touch each other. The touch means so much. We can't touch each other. We have what do you call it? Isolation issues.
Right.
We're not supposed, and that messes with us mentally.
That's demonic.
Because we were made for each other. We were made to serve each other.
That's right.
Wow.
I love what you said about having so many different duties. When we were putting this segment together, we were going back and forth about the order of everything. And she was like, that doesn't sound right. And I was saying, okay, I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about first. So we were looking at church, family, and then self. And so we were looking at, well, which order do we put it in? For a first lady, she is mom. Does the family come first? Does the church come first? Does she need to be right herself first? What's the order of it? And so I want to ask you guys, and I honestly don't know if there's a right or wrong answer for this, because I just think first ladies are superheroes and they're super women. Y'all just open up and bam, it's an S on your chest automatically. Not the Scarlet Letter, but the Superwoman S. But I think it's there because you got the kids, then you got to get up, and then you opening up the church and opening up the service, and he's preparing the sermon, and then like you said, you got the man on your shoulder crying, and you just made my whole head hurt when you were saying all that. I was like, golly. And then, but Lady Chapman, on the other hand, she over there resting and relaxing and everything. She's chilling. Even though at work when we got started, I'm just gonna put that out there. So how is it, ladies? What's the order? And I know I want to hear your responses, like church, family, self, wife. Which one? How does that work? How do you prioritize those responsibilities? Quisha, I'll let Quisha go first. I can go first.
Oh man, I used to have it backwards. I'm gonna be honest. But now let me not be selfish like that. Let me explain what I mean by me, but my life, I have to take care of me first. I can't take care of the church or my family if I'm not in a well-balanced state. Like if I feel like I'm about to lose it, if I'm emotionally in a wreck, I can't be a help to somebody else if myself ain't together. So I say my life, myself comes first. My family is next, and my church family is at the end.
Okay.
I think that was the three.
Okay, yeah, that's the three. So okay. Now you just gave me your whole schedule. That time for you to take care of you. As I mean, looking at girl, when you have time?
When I'm tired. No, I'm just kidding. Now I love to go to the gym. That's my outlet. That's
self-care.
Yeah. Okay. I don't do it as much as I probably should, or as I used to, but exercising is an outlet for me. So in the morning time, I try to get up before I go to work. Even sleeping is a way of self-care for me. It's just resting. So even if I don't go to the gym, if I just stay in the bed a little longer, or if I just make sure after I get off work, after I've done all this, just give me a moment to rest. Even if it's 30 minutes, just let me be to myself for a moment. So I just, I plug it in somehow. It works. I figure it out.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. Just sleep. It's amazing the benefits of just being able to sleep. I'm gonna tell you, sometimes I'm going so much until my body my knees will give out everything, and I just gotta stay there. Don't get up.
Your body will let you know. Your body will let you know when you're tired, and you don't want to end up in the hospital. So you definitely have to listen to your body. Yeah.
Good that she learned, you know, she said she learned that. I like that. You know, some people haven't learned it yet. You have to learn to take care of yourself.
Yes.
When my husband and I first started the ministry, the first thing we said, we were not going to win the world and lose our family.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we refuse to win everybody and lose our family, kids. So we definitely put family first, you know, family and then the ministry. So, you know, of course, it's God.
Yes.
And God, your marriage, then your children and the family. Because if your children know you okay, they're going to be okay.
Right.
If y'all ain't okay and they see you tripping, they're going to trip. So you have to really work that marriage first, because it's going to trickle down to the family, your kids, and they're going to be all right. But you have to, and then even though we said that, we have to remember not to put ourselves last, because we'll get so busy and we'll forget that it'll get out of order, and we have to regroup and say, whoa, wait a minute. You just have to regroup. And once we regroup, we're good. But I think we definitely we always remind ourselves to put our family, our marriage, children, then church. We never put our church or ministry before our family. Never. My husband went to the sport games. You know, we had them in activities. You know, we have date nights. We take time and we have a moment. We have that friendly conversation. Like, wait a minute, we need to talk about this, because it'll come between your church will really destroy your marriage.
Yeah, it can.
It can destroy your marriage if you don't prioritize it, if you don't recognize it, if you don't talk about it. It will be first. And a lot of ministries, the ministry is before the marriage. The ministry is before that spouse, that wife. And I think if you nip that in the bud and recognize it, you have a wonderful church, a wonderful marriage, and a wonderful family.
Amen.
She made me think of something. I'm sorry. I know.
Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, when you were talking about how the church can, and yes, I learned that, and I can say this year has probably been, I keep saying this year, but really for this year has been one of the years I have come to realize a lot of stuff, but not even just me, but with my husband. And I love him to death. Shout out to my husband. But he will even tell you, you know, like in the beginning, we haven't been doing this long. It's only been 7 years. But in the beginning, he was just like, let me do this. We got to do this for the church first. And I'm just like,
yeah,
we haven't been in, you know, we haven't took the kids anywhere. We haven't spent any time. And because it was our church, our ministry was such a baby, we had to give it a lot of attention. But as I stated in the beginning, you know, we were just having our second child. We were basically newlyweds. We haven't been married but so long. So not only did the church, the ministry needed attention, our lives needed it. So we were missing that. But like I said, I'm quiet. So sometimes I get to where I'm just going to sit back and let you do you first. And I'm going to let you see how that worked for a little while. But after a while, you know, you kind of hold on to things and it just kind of just come out. And when it do come out, and because you've been holding on for it too long, it comes out in a healthy way. So we had to learn, okay, we see this is messing us up in this area. Let's fix this. And so he has done a lot of changing, you know, how things go. So a lot has changed and things are so much better. But I can see why, because that was something that was his baby. That was a vision that God had gave him. And I felt like if I were to say something, well, then I was interfering in something that God was giving him. But I was here first. No, I'm just kidding.
God gave him, you know, he found a good thing. So you got to take care of that good thing. And you have to address it as soon as it happens, because it'll be forever before you realize I ain't first.
Yes.
You will get bitter and mad with the church and end up being mad with God because you were not first.
Yes.
So I think it's something you learn. But like I said, we talked about it before we started ministry. The first thing we said was that, no, we're going to be first, our family first. But we still had to remind ourselves, because you'll get real busy and you do have a vision. Your husband have a vision, you have a vision, but you got to remind yourself, your family, our marriage is first, because many churches have tore marriages apart. Ministries apart.
And I love that. And Pastor OZ, I'm gonna ask you the same question in 1 second, but I got to tackle a thought real quick with y'all. So, and I know you heard it before, and I'm hearing what you're talking about, the essential part of connecting with the family. So, do you think that that's why that there's this statement that is always said that preachers' kids are the worst kids?
Exactly, because I watch pastors' kids, and I look and I say that pastor don't spend any time with his children. That pastor don't spend any time with his wife. I can look at another pastor's wife, and I'm like, show me his wife, and I can tell you about him. And so it's like I can tell they do not spend time together, and I can tell that church and that ministry is first, and really, he's first because that's his baby and his ministry. So really, you're putting yourself first. So that's out of order. The Bible said, husband, love your wives, know your wives, And so, but you got to so that's why these kids are that way. But nowadays, ministries are finally getting it. Pastors and pastors' wives are finally getting it. I need to spend time with my children. They don't keep you in church 7 days a week, 25 hours a day. Back in the day, you was in church all day. That stuff is out of style. That stuff is like, no, you're not in church all day. We're when we start a church, very mindful of people's time. That's why we start on time. We don't have services. We don't have 3-week revivals because we're thinking about people's time. Kids got to go to school. People got to go to work, and you need to have dinner with your family. And we'll say, hey, spend some time with your family. We tell people, go on vacation, do stuff with your family. We remind them to do things with their family. But as ministers, as pastors, we have to lead by example. And so those days of the pastor kids being the worst kids, that's out of style because we spend time with our kids. And then you'll see the fruit. They'll rise up and call you blessed because we put each other first. Therefore, we put our kids next, meaning we go to all their activities. You can't dance, you can't go here, we didn't put no rules on them like that. We just had balance. We let them be children. That's another reason why pastor kids go crazy. Let them kids be kids. They're gonna be okay.
When they go trick or treat.
Yeah, let them do it.
Lord, that's a whole nother conversation.
I know. I just wanted to ask because we used to lead a prayer meeting and sneak out while they was tarrying. And
let them tarry. Where you go get your candy?
They were tarrying. No, we was gone.
I need some balance. That's the balance part. I let them go. I said, y'all, let them go get the candy. Or we do trunk or treat at church. I said, because they're gonna go crazy. I said, let them teach them balance. Some people don't even do a Christmas tree. I'm opening up the service like, y'all, it's the holidays. Put up a tree for your children. Do a wreath. Put on some Christmas music. I encourage balance. Let those children have a happy Christian balanced life. And that's why I can see the fruit in my children. I see that balance.
Praise God.
And they're adults now. Praise the Lord. Now I had to go through some things, had to knock a few out, but it's all good because they fine now.
Yeah, you look like you might have had to do that.
I had to do a little bit. I had to play.
I see it. Praise God. Praise God. Pastor Ozzy, what's your order? Family, church, self? What's the order for you?
I would say that I'm not sure if I would say myself. I would say my family first. And then, of course, as everyone has said, the Lord is first.
Right.
But my family and then myself, because going back to letting the children be children, I never, maybe I was a different kind of first lady. I never let anyone stigmatize my children. They just could not do anything. They could not ask questions if they didn't understand something. I just was never like that. I believe that you have to have balance. If you don't have balance, then you're going to look kind of funny. Mm-hmm. It's going to show up somewhere.
Right.
So therefore, you have to have, God is concerned about family.
Yes.
He wouldn't have given you, he wouldn't have even made a family, which is us, if he didn't want family to be together. You know, so it's important for families to, you know, get to know each other. During this pandemic, you know, we have learned things about each other that we maybe overlooked, you know, down through the years. So we've gotten closer, you know, we've checked on each other and found out, well, you need some tissue, you know, just a little family. Do you need some soap? What do you need? But then now I am not one of those first lady pastors, whatever you want to call me. I am not one that teach people about cooking. I have not done that. Okay. I do not. The kitchen is just not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. However, just before all this, you know, go in the house, shut yourself in, don't come out. Listen, my husband and I will go out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm talking every day. Okay. We, at the same time as the Lord was ministering to me about, well, you know, you need to draw that back a little bit. He was ministering to Bishop Cherry, saying the same thing. You need to draw that back a little bit. Do you all realize how much money you're spending every day? But my thing was, well, hey, kids are gone, grandkids are gone. I don't like to cook no way, so it's no problem. It's okay. But this pandemic, you all, do you hear me now? I have cooked more. I've never seen anything like it. I have cooked more than I have in my entire life with my husband being 43 years. And that's the truth.
Wow.
The only time I liked to cook was Thanksgiving. Anybody, the church people could come to our house on Thanksgiving. They could come on Thanksgiving. They were going to have 47 entrees. But any other time, honey, forget it. Don't come here. I mean, if you do, I'm gonna get you. I'll get you some Chinese food up the street, you know. But
I love it.
I you know, that's just where I was. But just the cooking and just how happy it has made them. Yeah. And I was cooking. You all listen. This is history. I was cooking every day. Do you hear me? This needs to be in that book of what is it?
Guinness Book of Records.
I'm telling you, I started off just because I think I was a little, you know, wanting to make sure the family was safe, wanting to make sure the family was eating, you know. But then we start eating too much, you know, because I was cooking every day. I was cooking like 3 times a day. So that really has this situation has really changed my life. So now I've kind of drawn back a little bit. You know, I haven't cooked as much as I normally would because I thought I started getting fatter and fatter and fatter, and I thought, Lord, I gotta get a physical shortly. I gotta come back off this stuff.
That's the COVID-15. You picked up the COVID-15.
I'm telling you, honey, I had every COVID-15. Let me see. What was it? COVID-19 though. I think I was getting toward those 19 pounds. I'm like, the devil's a lie. But I mean, I really did. I had to come. It wasn't the devil, you all. It was just me cooking. You know, that's just not what I would always do. But I really have enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure. You know, I actually cooked Sunday.
Oh.
I cooked a dinner.
What you cook? I'm a foodie. What you cook?
What did I cook? I cooked a roast. I cooked barbecue chicken. I cooked meatloaf. I cooked cabbage. I cooked string beans. I cooked what was that? Turnip greens. I had corn and butter beans, and we had rolls and drink and cheese.
Well, no yams in there.
Yes, yams, potato salad. Hold on, I'm telling you.
Mother.
So I had to calm down from that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mother, we going to the track tomorrow morning.
But you know what? You know, I told you I had to calm down. Okay. So I actually lost 6 pounds.
Wow.
So
wait.
I said, okay, pandemic, you got me long enough. This is it. Hold on.
Wait, you lost that since Sunday? Because if you ate all that.
No. Yeah, when you how you doing that? But no. I said I fixed it. I cooked it. I didn't eat all of it. Oh, and I forgot I had chicken pastry.
Praise God.
Oh, have mercy.
Yeah. So So the pandemic has done some different things, but like coming again, you have to have balance.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's key. I think balance is the key.
Absolutely, it is.
But I love that because, like a lot of the comments are pouring in and everybody's like, yes, this is perfect. But balance seemed to be the common thread. And, like you all said, you had to gravitate to, it was a new time. So you had to do things differently.
Yeah.
But that's part of self-care, finding things that make you happy. And that's how you maintain the balance in your mind. That's how you maintain mental wellness, because you were happy doing the cooking, you were happy eating it too.
Absolutely.
And I was the same way, but I think balance is what everybody is saying has been key.
Yeah.
And I think you all had shared too about family. I think it kind of goes together, like marriage, self. I know Lady Horton said self, and then her marriage, of course. And then we said marriage, the kids, and then the church. Someone gave the great example about, again, on the airline, you got to put your mask on first before you help the next person.
Right.
So, I'm a firm believer that as women, we do have to look at self-care. And we do, even though I know our marriage, it's important, but if we ain't no good, we ain't gonna be no good to our husbands.
That's right.
We have to lean on each other. And Lady Chapman, I'm surprised she didn't say it, because again, like we talk about, women need women. And so a lot of times we need ourselves amongst each other to kind of rejuvenate, to cry it out, because we can't necessarily go crying to our husbands because they don't understand what we're going through.
That's right.
As women, all the weight that has been on us. But I'll hold that thought. I know when we get ready to do the next part, I'll hold that thought.
I did develop.
Look, the inquiring minds want to know, Mr. Ready to do it. We're gonna shift gears.
What you add? Wait a minute, they had something. Pastor Ozzie, what were you gonna say?
No, I did. I like to crochet. Okay, then that's my time for myself. So I actually began to crochet masks for my daughter's staff. That was when it was, early March, and they were saying we had to be in the house. And so then the crochet mask got too hot. So I thought, well, my sister knows how to sew. My mother knows how to sew. Let me see if I can sew. So I start sewing masks. So that was my escape, to get on that sewing machine and make it zoom and see what I can do.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome.
I checked on everybody else. Let me see what I can do.
Amen. Well, we know where to go for Sunday dinner.
No. That was last Sunday. Now you may not get another one. Now don't you better call first. I'm going there to the Chinese place. I'm telling you.
I do Chinese.
So Lady Chapman, were you gonna say something? You look like you were a second ago.
No, I was just talking about the self-care part. Did we get to the self-care? Where we at?
We were
food. So I'm going off with the food.
I know, got me wanting to play.
It won tonight.
That sounds like the church plate for real.
Food right there.
Popcorn, cornbread, but made me hungry. But so listen, ladies, we're getting close to that time where we're going to do something called Full Circle. We definitely appreciate all of the impact. You guys, it seems like the theme words were, just ensuring that, you are the only lady, making sure that there is balance and all of those things. However, you guys seem to have almost figured it out and almost mastered it. But there are first ladies that are watching right now. Not only that, but there are other people that are watching, and they look up to you guys as first ladies as being an example of what they should do. So Gravity Talks is just about the force of gravity and what holds you steady and what holds you up. And so today, for our full circle, my question is to you, and this is your opportunity to leave your last closing remarks to everyone that's tuning in, that last piece of information that you want to share with them. Well, my question to you today is that it actually comes from a show that I watched a couple of days ago. It was from single pastors that was looking for a wife. And they said that I would prefer her to be a wife at home instead of having to just be a first lady. Said because I need her to turn church off at home. Bring God in the house, but turn church off. Said because at that point I need her to be there for me and not have to bring church into the house. And so I want to know you all's take on how to balance that part of incorporating church in the home, or even if you even bring it in there. Like we talk about church today, we talk about church Tuesday through Thursday, we not. So I wanted to know how do you transcend those things? Because a lot of times you have, not just with pastors and first lady relationships, but a lot of times you have an imbalance there with unequally yoked marriages and things of that nature, where they're bringing in playing all this gospel music and he don't want to hear it. So all of those things. So my question to you is how do you make that balance in the home? So that's my question, and definitely kind of your leaving statement for us today. And I'm telling you, it's been an awesome discussion. I really do appreciate it. So I'm gonna start with Lady Quisha. Let you go first.
Okay, so my husband and I, we were friends first. We've been together for almost 15 years. And I was 15 at the time. So we try to make sure we keep things fun and that he remembers. I always tell people this, he remember why he married me. So when we come home, no, I'm not a cooker like Pastor Cherry. I'm sorry. I don't even cook for Thanksgiving. I will bring ice water and the drinks, but that's about it. But when, we have our moments where music is a big thing here. And our girls, they love to dance. They love to have fun. So if we play something from back in the day, from when we first met or something, just to kind of remember and walk around dancing and having fun, well, then we do that. We still play our worship music. I'm big on worship, and I lead praise and worship. So, of course, God is still there. God is still in the household. So we make sure, of course, that God is first. But yeah, we just have fun. And I don't know if anybody ever go to my Facebook page, you would definitely see somebody is cutting up. And my husband has no serious bone in his body unless he is up preaching. But other than that, just making sure we're having fun. We dance. Music is a big thing, just keeping it fun.
Wonderful. So that would be your advice, to keep it fun? Keep it
just
fun.
To keep it fun. Yeah.
Love it. Let's see, Pastor Ozzy.
Okay. My advice to everyone that is concerned about ministry, husbands, wives, that sort of thing, to please remain friends. And remember, as a first lady, that you didn't marry the, bishop and the apostle and, prophet, all of that, with all those titles. You married your husband. I married Wallace. I don't need, for him to preach to me when we're in the bedroom, I don't need for him to prophesy to me when we're at home. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm talking about it's a time and it's a place for all things. I want to have my husband, not just my pastor. You follow what I'm saying? Because I want him to be that human man that God made him to be. And if you remain friends, you remain, you have an open communication, you have fun, as Lady Quisha said, have fun with each other. You don't have to be so spiritually deep that you can't be dug up. That's not who I married. If I remember sharing that when we first got married, I told my husband Wallace, I said, my God, you are boring. You are so boring. What in the world did I get into? And it was because he was doing, just like his dad, he'd go to work, come back home, has always been an awesome provider. But that wasn't just what I needed, somebody to come sit on the couch and go to sleep. Man, wake up, let's go do something. And so he realized and recognized that he was living his life out from his daddy's eyes instead of being his own person. And when he realized he was his own person, then, I guess I woke that up in him. He is his own person. He's not his daddy. He has been different ever since. So if you remain friends with each other and have fun with each other, and first ladies, sometimes those men, can we be real? How many more minutes we got? Sometimes those men make you so sick you don't even want to see them.
Come on now, that's the part too.
You listen. You don't want to see them. You don't want to. You ain't studying that title. You look. Forget all of that. But then what you have to come back and say to yourself, well, now listen. Come on, Ozzy. Now, okay, God gave him to you and you to him until death do you part. And there is ministry that you must consider. So let's come together and we talk and we reason. We come together and we reason with each other, and then things get better. Have an open communication in your marriage. I'm telling you about anything, about everything, and it will work.
Is it hard to hear him preach on Sunday if you feeling some type of way?
That's for the part too. That's
Okay,
the part too.
Let me just embark upon that a little bit. Okay, because I'm not one to just, I literally took that scripture, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Oh no, he's going to know about it before he step in the pulpit. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. Respectfully. I'm not going to tear him down. I'm not going to, let him think that he's worse than his calling, that God called him to be. But I am going to let him know what you did or what you said. It bothered me. I want to be free. I don't want him just to be up there preaching and he's free and then I'm not free. Mm-hmm. Because I've never been a hypocrite. I'm sorry. I just never have. So I like to talk. Can't you tell? I like to talk. I like to get it out. And after we get it out, we can just get over it and go on, because everything has its time and its season.
I love that. I had to ask. I just had to ask because a lot of times the first ladies, you see it all on their face. Everybody, they start watching him preaching and like, oh, something happened last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, I can't do that because I don't want anybody to say, oh, she mad at him today. Oh, he mad at her today. I don't want that because that will come across I don't care how fancy up you fix it. It will come out in your preaching, or it'll come out in your soon as he start preaching, you get busy, you doing something else.
I've seen that too. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
So
yes, Lord. Thank you so much, Mother. Lady Chapman, you muted. Wait, yeah.
I got it. That was good. I thank y'all so much for sharing those things. But I look at it, how I keep things separate. I set the atmosphere of my home. I bring the joy, I bring the party, I bring the ideas, I bring the fun. So that's what I do. And so we do things together. I make the plans. We do things together because you have to pull them away from church or they'll stay in a church zone, a church mind. But he'll say, now we've been in ministry 20 years. And so he have learned to say, I'm going to just, I'm going to leave work by 1 o'clock today. I'm just ready to get away from, the work, get away from the studying. And so I'll make sure that he come home to some fun. We work out together. We play in the pool together. We even now at a place in our life where we even don't mind going shopping together. Wow. So I make the atmosphere right where he comes home and his home is a refuge, but it's fun. We have a lot of fun because you have to be responsible for your own happiness. Mm-hmm. And so once you know that, don't depend on your husband to make you happy per se. So when you know that you married a human, he's not perfect. And I tell people all the time, marriage is not necessarily to make you happy, it's to make you holy. So you need to make your own self happy because it'll keep you praying. So I do all kinds of fun stuff. And he come home, he loves being home. I know how to keep it balanced. So you just have to think in your mind, almost like work, leave work at work, same thing with church. And it's easy. And that's how come you have to not take all the phone calls and have them call you at church. You different when your ministry is new. Everybody got your phone number. Everybody can reach you anytime. And so you're on 24/7, but we have to have balance with that. So we don't do 24/7. We have balance and boundaries, and we cut off things, and so that we don't have to be worn out. And so we won't have to dread like coming home because we're still going to discuss church. So we just make a decision not to discuss church at home. And this is like an emergency.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Miss Yelverson.
Wow. Well, I must say thank you, ladies, for joining us tonight. It was truly a blessing. I knew it would be because we were really excited at the panelists that we invited to join us tonight and who agreed to join and share some nuggets. And one of the things we shared with the panelists before we went live is to share your truth and be as transparent as possible because people want to hear from you. Yeah. Just like looking at all the comments that have flooded in. I mean, ladies, you all are definitely loved. But I appreciate you all, still being available and still saving a part of yourself for everyone else.
Yeah.
Because especially amidst of this pandemic, life is different. Things have changed. Our mental health and mental wellness has been impacted. And we want to make sure you all are okay as well. Because a lot of times we just put on. The weight is on our shoulders to keep pushing forward. And before we realize that we're on fire, we don't realize it till it's too late. So the last thing we want is for anyone to end up, ill or in the hospital, because they're not able to take care of themselves first. But the balance, doing things that you all love. I love what Lady Horton shared about dancing. A lot of the comments flooded in about they love music. They love the fact about dancing because those are things that kind of give us some type of therapy and puts us in places of happy times, depending on what the songs are that kind of keep us, going, so to speak. So I love the dancing part. Pastor OZ, I love the cooking part, and I love the fact that you only do it because cooking is where you're out now. All them courses you name about 9 different meats. That's about cooking. And I ain't no cook like that, but I know it take a long time, and I'll be cooking all day if I cooked all that food you cooked on Sunday. So, but I know you did it out of the heart and from the heart. And so you wanted to have a sense of some type of home in the sense that you all brought it back in. I love going out to eat as well, but like you said, sometimes you just need to bring it back home. Mm-hmm. So thank you for sharing that. And then of course, Lady Chapman, working out with your husband, getting some rest, that is all essential. Spending time together, like you say, now y'all like to shop together. And I think Pastor Cherry was like, what? So, after 43 years, being able to shop together is big. That's major. But I think that everybody, what we notice in the different age groups on the panel are different seasons in life. And I appreciate you all sharing your season, your nugget for your season. So again, I salute you ladies. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I bid you all well after tonight's segment. Before I turn it over to Miss Lewis to close us out, I just want to also add, I'll be posting some information that may be helpful to those who may be needing to make a call. We'll be posting the suicide hotline number. If anything has triggered any thoughts or any type of feelings, I definitely welcome you to make contact with these resources that we'll be posting. This segment was mainly to provide a level of a safe space to talk, a safe space to get the stigma, destigmatize mental wellness and the aspect of life and balancing church, and the threat of mental health. And so I just want to let you all know that I'll be posting some information about that if you need to tap into some additional resources. So again, thank you, ladies, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So in my closing today, I would like to say that it's just a small testimony, and I'm only going to do like maybe 60 seconds or so. But I wanted to do the topic because I've realized that there has truly been a change in the way that ministry is developed and the process of things of that nature. I grew up in a home where my father was a pastor before I was born. So I didn't have a choice. I didn't get to see a transition. And I'm happy to hear that. And that was, let's see, my mom's been a first lady for over 40 years.
Wow.
And I've seen a transition and a shift that I can say that I'm proud of. I'm proud of for the church. I'm proud of even for first ladies, because it wasn't always like that. It wasn't as easy as it is now. There were a lot of challenges and things of that nature. And, you know, I salute her as well as I salute you all, because it is a lot. It is a lot with children, growing a ministry, as well as and in some occasions dealing with church folks. So it's all, and I salute you guys and I commend you on a job well done, even in the midst of something that our world has never seen before, something called a pandemic. And it's caused us to shift and not change. So I'm excited about it. And we thank you all for sharing. And we're praying that the words that you gave us today and the words of wisdom that you've shared will not only just help other first ladies, but it will also help to support those that are just Christians or those that are faith-based that are in the home and just kind of looking to figure out how to make that balance. I think that you guys have encouraged them. It's okay to have fun in the house, and it doesn't change your salvation. It doesn't change your relationship.
That's good.
And so I love that you guys gave that, and you gave that from a level of leadership, because a lot of times I feel that leaders have to hide behind the realities of their life. And we love to have these platforms where you guys can be transparent, not having church, not having to quote a bunch of scriptures, but telling people this is how you live, and this is how you live, and this is how you deal with mental health so that it doesn't transition into mental illness. This is how you survive, and this is how you thrive. So ladies, we thank you so much. And you know, I'm definitely we're gonna go deeper. We're gonna do this topic again. We're gonna get together again if you guys would be interested in coming. I'm asking y'all in front of America. Asking y'all in front of America. Not the whole America.
The whole United States of America.
So definitely, I got all nods for the record, y'all. This is being recorded. So definitely, but we also want to thank all of our sponsors. We want to thank you all for everything that you've done. Listen, guys, at 8:35, I'm gonna say 8:35.
8:30.
8:30, we're coming back. I got two guests that's gonna come back, and they're gonna give feedback over the phone about this whole discussion. So y'all tune in. It's our after talk of the talk. So they're going to give all the feedback. They've been watching. They've been taking notes. So they're going to talk about everything y'all. Oh, yes. They've been commenting, doing the whole thing. So it's going to be good. I can't wait. And they've got interesting backgrounds as well. So we're going to do that in 4 minutes. Really? Okay, 4 minutes from now. But definitely, ladies, thank you. And you all, everyone that's tuned in, thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed one to stay safe and wash your hands.
Yes, and before we break off, we just want to, again, we have the After the Talk happening in about 5 minutes, but also next Monday, we have Gravity Talks, Mental Health, and Praise and Worship. So we have some national recording artists that will be joining us, as well as we are also praise and worship leaders. So we are totally excited about hosting that event also on Monday. So tune in next Monday at 7.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get them to sing. I don't know if it's going to work.
I'll sing. All right. Y'all have an awesome night. Thank you so much for joining.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.